This is how I feed my bees. I mix up some sugar, half and half. I sometimes in summertime put more water than sugar because they don't need a lot of thick sugar in the winter because they're going to have to get water anyway. So that way you get them to get plenty of water with their nectar. And that way it kind of pushes all the bees to get plenty to eat. I got my feeders all spread out because that way every hive might be able to find them. This is the second time today I've fed them. I don't feed them early in the morning during this dearth because there is something to eat early in the morning. I've got lots of Virginia creeper vine that's blooming right now, but in the afternoon it stops putting out any nectar. And that up there, that's Vitex. I've got dozens of Vitex bushes and they're blooming, but they're only putting out a lot of nectar in the morning. So let me show you this right now. You don't see very many bees at all. They're just now finding them. But we'll give this a few minutes and then I will let you back in here to see this again. Here's how well the bees are flying already, and they haven't even found the sugar syrup. But it's because they've already had it. What they're doing right now is gathering water and pollen and things like that, and they're mixing everything they need to make honey. And they're also eliminating what they don't need. Now, before I was feeding them today, they were just sitting on the hive doing nothing. But now they're working, and working good. But when we get back, you're gonna see they are at the feeders. You're gonna see that. We'll go back there and see. And see, they're bearding now, but they won't be bearding in a few minutes because they're getting ready to start working. These are the Virginia creeper flowers from the vines that are climbing up a tree in the morning. In the morning, they're putting out nectar, but right now, you're not going to see very many bees, if at all, on these flowers. But in the morning, they're all over them. That's because plants are intelligent at saving water. They're not wanting to die, and they're not wanting to wilt, so they got to hang on to whatever they have. Now here's a bee. Finally got one on there. There's a honeybee. I saw him. It's up there. So see, we do have something, but in the morning it's much better. That's why I didn't feed early in the morning. I wanted to make sure they had a chance to work, the Virginia creeper. But we're in a serious dearth. But these dearths can stop pretty quick, just a few degrees less temperature, a little bit different humidity levels, and the nectar will start going out in some of these flowers. But flowers can withhold their nectar. They can even close up like morning glories. Whatever it takes to be frugal with their moisture and their nectar. They're giving the nectar in exchange for pollination. So that's how that works, of course. So not only is the Virginia creeper doing things, but very shortly I'm going to have this. And this is called a gumbamelia tree, and it's got some blooms on it too, but they're not quite open yet. But once we get a good rain, they're going to open up. It's pretty hot today. The turkeys are hot, and they're just sitting around. Anyway, you can see the bees are starting to gather. They're telling each other about it. So it's just going to be, I think it's going to be maybe 3 more minutes. And this is going to be buzzing. It's going to look so furious. It's going to be great. But all the bees are going to be interested in is eating. See how they're gathering like little cattle at a trough, drinking their sugar syrup? Just give them a few. We'll come back in 3 minutes. Chicken eating a June bug. Good girl. Good girl. I don't like June bugs too much. Good girl. They're eating my okra. That's a good girl. You're a good girl. She's a good girl. Come here. Come on. Good girl. My chickens are all tame. Yes, they are. They're tame. That's okay. Come on. Come here. Come on. Come on. What's the matter? Oh, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? Okay. We'll give it just a little more time. I'm trying to waste time so that I can show you how powerful the feeders get. You guys want to go in the house? Want to open the door? Open the door, Luke. Go on, Roger. Follow your brother.
Do that floor again.
Yeah. We're still waiting. I don't want this to be too boring. You're going to get stung, little Priscilla. Better get away from the bees. Go on. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. What's the matter? Come on. Come on. Come on, girl. Come on. Oh, I don't want to scare you. Get away from the bees. I'm so worried about her. Something that small getting stung is not going to be very good. It even hurt the turkeys. I wish she'd get away and go with the rest of the chickens. Let's give it a little more time. Hasn't even been 3 minutes. This is my shiitake farm right here. And unfortunately, it's not been productive for a long time. They're not even a year old, really, but they're already starting to get taken over by other fungus. I don't even know what kind of polypore fungus this white fungus is, but it's taken over. I had a small flush of shiitakes in the spring, and that was it. Now it's been summer, and it seems like shelf mushrooms are just invading. And also, you see that sawdust right here? That's because borers, insects, are boring in and getting them. So the logs just don't last around here. Too many things. But I bet when the temperature gets back below 80 degrees, I'll probably start having some more mushrooms if I'm lucky. We'll see. Those great big elephant ear looking plants are malengua, also called edos and also called taro. And they're delicious. Made like mashed potatoes. They're just delicious. Better than potato mashed potatoes. And they don't get the pests and the bugs that potatoes get. And they come back year after year. And I'm in zone 7, so we get a pretty cool winter. It definitely stays below freezing for a few months at night. And so this is definitely a good plant to grow if you want some carefree food just to throw off in a moist area with partial shade to full sun. It's a good thing. You can usually get the roots at the grocery store and in the produce department. Okay. Well, this is good enough. This is how good the bees are finding it. They're just covering it up. They're coming all over. They're making a beeline in the air straight to the beehives. They just love sugar syrup. Nobody's dying. They're enjoying their food. They're drinking really good. It's really fun. Bees love it. Good thing about summer dearth, you get to feed your bees. And when you want to feed them internally, you take an empty brood box and you take one of these feeders. And these feeders I got from Brushy Mountain. They fit into a medium box or a deep brood box. You just take an empty brood box, put it over the inner cover of the hive, and then you put the lid on top of that brood box. And inside there, you can actually fit 4 of these feeders. And that's a really good way to feed sugar syrup to a weak colony. But just don't forget, reduce the entrance down to only where 1 bee can get in. And that's with a screen bottom board open. If you don't have a screen bottom board and you have a solid bottom board, You may not even be able to reduce the entrance in the summertime because they might die. I'm a real proponent of screen bottom boards because I have found that they are indispensable for my use. They don't have the problems that solid bottom boards have. I'll tell you all about that. Bye-bye.